Hello learners, I am Dr. Munish Kumar Bharadwaj from School of Engineering and Technology of IGNOU. Today we are going to discuss about the repair of concrete structures. As you remember, till now we have discussed about the causes for defects in structures in general and beams in particular, and also we discussed about the types of cracks in concrete beams. Now we will discuss about repair of concrete structures, in which particularly we will be discussing about repairing materials and also repairing methods. Now we are going to discuss about the repair of concrete structures, in which we will discuss particularly about repairing materials and also repairing methods. The objectives of this module are that after going through this module, you should be able to first describe various materials for repair, and second, you should be able to explain different methods of repair. First, let us begin with the deciding factors in repair of concrete structure. These factors are: first, we have to see that what is the cause of damage. Second, what is the type and extent of damage. Then third, what are the capabilities and facilities available with us for repair. And also we have to look for the availability of the materials for repair. So these four are the deciding factors based on which we will decide that which material should be used and what technique should be used for repair of concrete structure. The repair of a concrete structure may vary between just giving a cosmetic treatment and a total replacement. So between these two extremes, there will be various methods and requirement of these methods depending upon the condition for repair. Experience shows that many concrete structures, although they may appear to have been damaged beyond repair, but can be reinstated economically after a proper investigation and by using well-designed equipment, tools and materials. Here in this table you see the deterioration of concrete, repair techniques and materials. So I'm not going to explain these things. This is a list basically. You can go through and understand very well this simple thing. So this table is available in the text that is provided to you. So you can go through this table where you will find the damage, then what are the materials that may be used for repair, which techniques you can use for repair. So please go through the text and just know these materials and the techniques. This is the part of the table. The table continues. Now we are moving to the repairing materials. What are different repairing materials that are used for repairing of concrete structure? Various materials are, first of all, polymer concrete, then epoxy grouts, mortars and coatings. Then we also use latex modified concrete. We also use shotcrete or granite. Then dry pack is also used. Portland cement grout is also used. We also use pre-placed aggregate concrete. And finally, joint sealers. These are the various repairing materials. Let us begin with first polymer concrete. 3 to 4 times increase in the strength, that is up to 1400 kg per centimeter square, has been obtained by using polymer in concrete. Corresponding increase in tensile strength of concrete is also achieved by polymer impregnation. Compressive strength as well as the tensile strength is increasing by use of polymer concrete. The durability of polymer impregnated concrete is substantially increased when exposed to freeze and thaw cycles. This has been the strong reason for its application in cold regions and against corrosive salts and acids. These properties can be fully utilized in repairs and renovation of old structures damaged due to heavy wear and tear, by corrosion and due to marine atmosphere. Materials which may be monomers or polymers used for impregnation are styrene, polypropylene, styrene, polypropylene, methyl methacrylate and polymethyl methacrylate. These are the materials or polymers. Second is epoxy grouts, mortars and coatings. Epoxy resin is a product of epichlorohydrin with bisphenol, with or without additives such as plasticizers and dilutants. These may be the additive. To get a cured epoxy resin product, a hardener, usually we use amine, is blended with epoxy resin at ambient temperature. The resin mortar may be obtained by adding fillers such as coarse sand or calcined bauxite grit. They develop excellent strength and adhesive properties and are resistant to many chemicals. They have good chemical and physical stability. They harden rapidly and resist water penetration. They provide a toughness that couples durability with crack resistance. So these are some good characteristics of this material. The epoxy based compounds are useful under three conditions. First, where an adhesive is needed to bond plastic concrete to hardened concrete or to bond rigid materials to each other. Second situation is for patching work. Third one is when a coating over concrete, especially in a thin coating, is needed that will provide color or resistance to chemicals, abrasion or water penetration. Now we move to another material, latex modified concrete. This group of materials comprise latex of acrylic modified mortar. These are conventional patching mixes to which a synthetic latex is added. These additives actually give the mortar greater internal strength. They are usually preferred where strength or heavy loading is an important factor. For example, on bridge decks or for factory floors subjected to heavy wheel loads. Both compressive and tensile strength are improved while the flexibility of the patch, which is a major factor influencing its durability, is increased substantially. Resistance to alkalis and dilute acids is also good. The concrete has low water absorption properties and freeze thaw stability is improved over a conventional patch. Both strength of the latex modified mortar is said to be greater than bond strength of the latex modified mortar is said to be greater than the shear strength of the old concrete. Next material is dry pack. Dry pack is a mortar mixture with a very low water cement ratio applicable for small area repair. It is normally placed by hand. Materials commonly used in dry pack are Portland cement, sand and water. Next material is Portland cement grout. Portland cement grout with or without sand can be used for repair of concrete structures, mainly for filling. This doesn't ensure satisfactory structural integrity as we get in case of epoxy resin. The cement grout consists of ordinary Portland cement and water mixed together. Sometimes additives such as accelerators, retarders or expanding agents are. Cement grout cannot be injected into cracks smaller than the particle size of the cement. Neat cement grout may be satisfactorily mixed by paddle mixers. When a filler is used, high speed mixing with a shearing action is necessary, and for this a concrete mixer is ideal. Grout pump may be a ram or screw feed type with pressure up to 7 Newton per mm square. For small quantities, hand pumps are useful. Next material is pre-placed aggregate concrete. This essentially involves first placing the coarse aggregate in the forms and thereafter filling the voids by pumping in cement grout. This may be sanded or without sand. This has been found to be suitable on areas where accessibility is a problem, just like underwater concrete. Joint sealers. Joint sealers are very important in concrete structures as every concrete structure has joints or cracks. Joint sealers should ensure the structural integrity and serviceability. In addition, they should provide protection against passage of harmful liquids, gases or other undesirable substances which would impair the quality of concrete. Now we move to repairing techniques. First step is observation of cracks. In observation of cracks, what we do, we determine the extent, location and width of the crack. Then we classify the cracks as structural crack or non-structural crack. Now, the techniques for determining the extent, location and width of crack. First, we can use the pulse velocity technique. By using this technique, you can find the extent and location of the crack. By using borehole photography, we will get information on crack width and orientation of the cracks. Then by using gamma radiometry, we can get information about crack width and the orientation of the crack. By using cores, we can get information on closed and open cracks in the interior of the section. Now, before actual repair, we have to do some preliminary work. There are two stages of repair. First, removal of damaged concrete, and second one is pre-treatment of surfaces and the reinforcement. Some pre-treatment is needed on the surfaces and also on the reinforcement. So these are the two stages of repair. Now first, removal of defective concrete or damaged concrete. Normally, removal of concrete can be accomplished by hand tool. When it is not practical because of the extent of the repair, it can be done with a light or medium weight air hammer fitted with a spade shaped bit. Care should be taken not to damage the unaffected portions of the concrete. For cracks and other narrow defects, a saw-toothed bit will help to achieve sharp edges and a suitable undercut. Then what are the pre-treatments? Pre-treatment comprises the following aspects to which special attention is required. What are these aspects? First, complete removal of unsound material. Second, undercutting with the formation of smooth edges. Third, good cavity geometry and also that is rounded inside corners. Next is rough but uniform surface. The surface should be rough but it should be uniform. You should not make it uneven. Then finally, freedom from cracks. So such type of pre-treatment is needed. The cleaning of all loose particles and soil and dirt out of the cavity should be carried out shortly before the repair. This cleaning can be achieved by blowing with compressed air, hosing with water, acid etching, wire brushing, scarifying, or a combination of different methods. Brooms or brushes will also help to remove loose materials. Let us move to the materials and techniques used for repair of concrete. Here we see first bonding with epoxies. Cracks as narrow as 0.075 mm can be scaled with epoxy compound. Usually pressure injection is resorted to in sealing the cracks. Then routing and sealing. This involves enlarging the crack along its exposed face and then sealing it with crack fillers. You see here the three steps, step A, B and C. Here in three steps, first you see the crack, then you see the routing process and then finally the sealing. So that way you can do. Another method of repairing of cracks is repairing of crack by stitching. This can establish restoration of the strength and integrity of a cracked section. Due care is to be taken to make an analysis check to ensure that this will perform well under applied loads. What we do in this method, holes are drilled in concrete to perceive dogs. Then these holes are filled with non-shrink grout. Variable length, location and orientation of dogs is done there so that tension across crack is distributed in the concrete rather than concentrated on a single plane. So that way we can use stitching method or technique for repairing of cracks. Then another method is external stressing. Cracks can be closed by external stressing by inducing compression force sufficient to overcome the tension which has caused the cracking. Compression force can be applied by use of the usual pre-stressing wires or rods. Some form of abutment is needed for anchorage. As you see here, that to repair the crack, the wire or rods are used in these two figures. Then another technique is drilling and plugging. This consists of drilling down the length of the crack and then grouting it to form a key, as you can see this in this figure here. Then another technique is gunite. Gunite is a mechanically applied material consisting of cement, aggregate and water. There are two gunite processes. First one, wet mix process, another one is dry mix process. The dry mix process is more extensively used for structural repairs. The cement and sand are batched and mixed in the usual way and conveyed through a hose pipe with the help of compressed air. A separate pipeline brings water under pressure and the water and the cement aggregate mix is passed through and intimately mixed in a special manifold and then projected at high velocity to the surface being repaired. This is process of guniting. The force of impact compacts the material. How the compaction is done? Compaction is done because of the force of the impact, because we are throwing it with high velocity. In good quality work, a density of around 2100 kg per meter cube is achieved. Before gunite is applied, the old concrete surface is prepared properly, all the cracks treated and the new reinforcement fixed in position. Cracks wider than about 0.5 mm should be cut out and filled with hand applied mortar or with gunite. A nominal mix of 1 part of cement to 3.5 parts of natural sand gauged by loose dry volume is suitable for general purpose gunite work. The sand should not be absolutely dry but preferably have a moisture content of 4 to 8%. The water cement ratio may be between 0.35 and 0.5. For effective guniting, the nozzle should be kept 60 to 150 cm away from the wall, preferably normal to the surface. When enclosing reinforcement bars during repairs, the nozzle should be held closer at a slight angle and the mix should be slightly wetter than the normal. Now we move to another material and technique, epoxy resin. How we do the epoxy resin treatment? The concrete surface to be treated must be exposed and must be free from loose and unsound materials, because otherwise their bond will not be proper due to the presence of loose material. The surface is prepared either by sandblasting or by etching with dilute hydrochloric acid or by removal of latex through chiseling. You can use the chisel. The surface must be absolutely dry at the time of application of epoxy for the sake of proper bond. The crack injection involves preparation of cracks, location of the injection points, injection of the resin, removal of injection nipples and plugging the holes. The spacing of the injection points will depend on the depth and width of the crack. It is good to have a few injection points as possible, consistent with maximum resin penetration and easy filling of cracks with low operating pressure. The injection pressures are governed by the width and depth of the cracks. Where the cracks are inclined or vertical, it is usual to commence the injection at the lowest injection point and work upwards as the resin comes out at the next higher injection point. For horizontal cracks, the injection can start from one end and proceed along the crack. Epoxy materials are toxic and skin irritant. Contact with skin, inhalation of vapors must always be avoided. Otherwise, it may be harmful to the health of the worker. Next is jacketing. Jacketing is the process of fastening a durable material over concrete and filling the caving with a grout that provides needed performance characteristics. The materials used for jackets are metals, rubber, plastics, and concrete. This restores structural values, protects the reinforcement from exposure to the elements, and improves the appearance of the original concrete. Jacketing materials may also be secured to concrete by means of bolts, screws, nails, or adhesive, by bond with the existing concrete, or by gravity. The methods of sewing employed will depend upon the exposure, the material used, and the positioning of the jacketing material. Fiberglass, reinforced plastics, ferrocement, and other hard materials like polypropylene can be used for jacketing. So, in this lecture, we discussed mainly the two things. One is repairing materials, second one repairing techniques. Please go through the text because there are many concepts remaining which I have not covered. So please go through the text. These concepts are: first, repairs to fire damaged concrete structures, then repair of structures affected by chemical action, then strengthening structures with externally bonded reinforcement. Then few case studies are given for repairs like strengthening of columns, slabs, beams. Then strengthening of circular RC shaft by jacketing is given there. And one case study is about restoration of distress in a folded plate roof of an auditorium. So please go through the text and enrich your knowledge regarding the repair of concrete structures by going through these sections. Thank you for watching.